So another live, we're again live. Why is he doing so many lives? You might be asking. Well, it's a form of therapy. Therapy is good. People who need therapy, they need to pay for the therapy. Lives are for free, you know. So cheap form of therapy. Just dump all my psychological baggage here. No, just kidding. Just enjoying that format. Look, it's beautiful. The evening air on my way home. It's been an amazing evening, just going out, having a little fun at the Pride Parade, whatever that event is. Horrible techno music, like doof, doof, doof. I get a headache from that. I don't think if that counts like music, as a music, right? But many people think it does. So collective pressure there, not for me, definitely not for me. Not even drunk with drugs. I still don't like it. Not that I would take that. I don't like drugs. Because what does it? It makes your mind like so clouded. I don't like to have a clouded mind. I like to have a clear mind. It's important to me. Lots of stuff here on the floor. You know, nobody's cleaning that up. It's depressing, right? But it is what it is. At least no physical violence. Nobody attacking me. Let's be grateful, right? So interesting, like one thing I wanted to share, that's just something so hilarious, right? Because in my mind, now I know why so many years I had so many troubles with women, right, with girls. I was like, yes, Lucas, get to the point. Well, first off, I'm having my glasses on today, as you can see, very educated impression. Really liking that, fantastic. Here, looking into that. Oh wow, it's a social, what do you call it? Place that does social work. Very good, very important. Providing some foundation for our society, getting people up to speed is the wrong word maybe, but supporting people who need support. It's good that we have that. One good reason to pay taxes. There's many bad reasons to pay taxes, you know, like the stuff laying on the floor back there. You're like, yes, should I pay taxes? Well, there's so much stuff on the floor. Not a good sign, but then you see this, you know, positive, what is it called? Social work, money going there. That's good. That's fantastic, actually, not just good. So, what's so confusing, right? Women are extremely confusing. Been trying to understand them now 37 years and counting, but hasn't happened yet. Maybe some other things, studying some other things is easier. Just trying to avoid that, right? It's painful, emotional pain, a lot of emotional pain coming up as I talk about that. Yes, maybe techno music would help, you know, it would just put an overlay over that emotional pain, just drowning out the pain with those repetitive beats and with those repetitive bass lines, right? But no, we're not going to do that. We're going to face it. The way of the, the way of the superior man. You need to face the pain, keep the spine straight. I'm a big believer, not in Jesus, but in finding some people tuning out. They're like, what? I thought this is what this channel is about. Thought this is a religious channel, right? No, sorry, it's not. Has never been. If you thought that, you were mistaken. You had a hallucination just in your imagination. Maybe you should check that out. Sorry. Don't want to be offensive, but yes, very interesting experience going to the Pride Parade, chatting up some people, having some nice conversations, mixed conversations, interesting conversations, walking up to people, telling them about potatoes, how amazing potatoes are, what you can do with potatoes, the endless possibilities, the potential, right? Potential of potatoes. That's like, what is that called? That's like there's a word when you have like pretty potatoes, you know, pretty potatoes. I forgot the word. It's in writing, right? It's how it goes so smooth off the tongue. You like the pretty potatoes, you know. I forgot what I was gonna say. ADHD kicking in, painful, but we're just gonna roll with it. So interesting. Had some very nice conversations, and yeah, one thing I don't understand about women, right? You talk to a beautiful woman. You're like, hey, so nice. Woman is smiling, and gives you her hand. She's like, hey, this is my name, but I have a boyfriend, right? Fair enough. No need to feel guilty if you're a pretty woman, if you have a boyfriend. No need to have guilty emotions about that. You don't need to be depressed about that, right? But so interesting, hand remains in my hand, right? In your hand, let's say, hypothetical story, it didn't really happen, just making this up, but the hand remains, right? And so what does it mean, right? Male brain can't process it, right? There is the boyfriend, hand is remaining in other hand. You're like, no, I don't understand. Please make it simple, male logic, 0 or 1. I cannot process, too complex. And you basically get overwhelmed, right? Like me, I get overwhelmed easily, emotionally overwhelmed. Yes, that's cross here, you know, another, it's red, it's my favorite color for crossing. No, I don't want to report the problem, just my great energy. So yeah, what do? It's confusing, right? Then you say, hey, yes, but your hand is still there. Woman looks, notices, hand remains. It's confusing. What do, right? Mixed signals. Please don't confuse me. Always need to be very clear. 0 or 1. I don't understand complex problems. Always need simple, left or right, simple directions. Let's simplify life, right? Let's simplify. There's too much choice, too many schools. Children have too much choice. Let's just either this or that, right? 2 choices. And maybe let's not people have decide themselves. Let's decide it for them. I think that's where the future is going, where society is going. Let's have AI decide that. I like it. It's a good vision. Gives me comfort. I feel safe with that. Yeah, there's no overwhelm. Good. You know, who needs agency? Not so good. So yes, it's very confusing. Very confusing. You talk to another woman, and said woman, looks at you, blushes, but she's like, no, I don't want. Body says yes, mind is no, no, no. So much tension in people, right? People not in full alignment, and then people taking drugs. Yes, I used to do it. I'm not blaming anyone, but it's complicated, right? And traumatizing for me. I'm so traumatized, right? Gonna cry, gonna go home. I'm looking forward to it, right? Because of the emotional release. I'm just like, yes, when I get home, I can cry a little, right? Just to release all those pent up emotions. This helps a little, right? Recording these videos. It's a little bit too risky. I can feel it. Itch to go there, right? Yeah, but we're gonna do this, right? Okay. I can feel it, yeah. Slight release here, but looking forward to going home, crying there. So that's gonna be good, yeah. And basically that was my update, just sharing, right? Sharing the exuberance of life, right? The flow of life. Beautiful people around me, right? Doing interesting things. Oh, then you talk to other women. They're like, no. And what a coincidence, right? Pride festival. Like, no. We're a couple. I'm like, oh yeah, really? Do you like men? No. Women are the superior gender. And then like, oh my God, right? Hits my emotion very hard. I'm like, just, you know, everything slows down, right? When you have a traumatic experience, everything's slower. It's even, you have a ringing in your ear. It's like, right? It's like everything's slow, not the good kind of slow, not like Neo, like he's dodging, no, but it's like the bad kind of slow, like the accident slow, falling from some stairs, from a ladder, you know, you're like, I fell from a ladder once. Yes, I was using an, what is it called? Air pressured hammering machine, you know, the one you see in these horrible movies. I hope you haven't watched them, where they're like using that on people. Oh my God, so disgusting. Who makes those movies, but they're selling, right? So some people like it. I admit I've watched a few of those, too many of those, right? But you can use it to weld together wood, right? My father, he's a builder, very smart guy, obviously, right? And he used to build some stuff, and he let me do the dirty work, right? Here, son, you can do this. You're grown up now. I'm so proud of you. Come on, do the work while I relax, kick back a little, right? And I did it, right? Young me, innocent me, using that tacker, that massive thing, with the nails shooting out of it. I was doing it, right? Felt very good about myself, like boom, boom, right? It makes a loud noise, very intensive. And yeah, I was on a ladder, I forgot to mention, right? On a ladder, and yeah, leaning to the right, a little bit more to the right, great experience, and I fell. Very, very high ladder. The ground, gladly it wasn't concrete, but everything slowed down. It was crazy. You probably know that if you've had an accident, right? So that's how I felt, you know. Women are the superior gender, hits me right in the heart. I'm like, it's painful, please. Oh my God, I thought it was inclusive, the festival, but what an attack, right? So that's why I need this little therapy session. I'm gonna cry about it when I get home. But I mean, it's interesting when you look at people, and I understand, like, let's zoom out and be like, okay, why are people at some stages in their development so anti, you know? What's this anti-energy, this, no, like resistance, you know? Some people even resisting their own urges, what they feel they want to do, they're like, they have just this resistance energy. And I think my theory, not a scientific theory, but pretty darn close to a scientific theory, is when you have an issue with boundaries. I'm not saying you have an issue with boundaries, right? If you have an issue with boundaries, please don't support me. But if you have that, if you're like, no, my boundaries have been violated in the past at whatever point in time, right? By whatever person, whatever situation, you want to establish those boundaries, and anger energy is used to establish boundaries. You use anger energy to draw a boundary, right? People who can never get angry, often they can't draw a boundary. They're like, oh, I really want to stop watching this live, right? But now it's on. I can't do it. You know, I have anxiety. What if Lucas is depressed if I quit the live, right? And they're like, can't make that decision. Some other people are like, fuck this shit, turning this off, right? They have no problem. They can tell you to the face, no, I don't like you, right? And some people, for them, it's difficult to do that, right? They're somehow blocked from doing that. And this is the nice guy syndrome, right? Where you're having problems establishing boundaries with other people. And this is a pendulum, it swings. It's like, here is like, on the one hand, it's like, I have no boundaries. People can drive all over me, and I suppress all of that stuff. I stuff it down. I eat potatoes, mashed potatoes, stuffed potatoes, any form you can make it, you know, stuffing those emotions down, suppression, and then at one point it explodes, right? Maybe when you go to the toilet, that's where it could explode, or emotionally with other people, right? So that is one way that can happen. And then the pendulum is there, like there's no boundaries, right? It's very a difficult situation. And then it can swing, and this is healthy. It's a healthy process. It swings to the other side, and at the other side, it's like extreme boundaries, right? Like, no, and you get into that power, like, no more, I don't want this. Very healthy. It's unpleasant for other people who are around you because they get the surplus of energy that it takes you to get that pendulum from no boundaries to you want to get it somewhere in the middle, probably, right? Where you're like healthy boundaries, but then you have extreme boundaries. You're like attacking other people. And it's a natural process, right? Probably the same thing repeats with cultures, with civilizations. Taking away I was to go first here, right? I had the right, they took it away. My boundary violated. It's also with civilizations, there's some developmental curve, right? That they people go through in their development, the society as a whole. And it's healthy, and it can be unpleasant, you know? If somebody says like, no, this is the inferior gender, right? Some anger there, pent up anger, right? But it's good. I celebrate that because I'm like, people, they're growing into their strength. They're standing up for their boundaries, for what's theirs. It's a positive process. I know if I look in the distance, it's going to be very positive. They're going to be happier. They're going to give a happy energy because they're in alignment with themselves, with their environment. And in the end, that's beautiful, right? Even if it's unpleasant, I'm going to cry about it. I have my coping strategies, very effective coping strategies, right? So all good. I wanted to share that, leave you with that profound message. Very educated video today, intellectual. Have an amazing evening. Sleep well, or wherever you are, whatever time. Lots of love. Take care.